Our original oratory is from AS Doha, Abhay Liginlal.
You know, every single day that I walk through my school doors with a Pokemon t-shirt on my chest and an A+ on my latest essay, I am labeled as a nerd. And I'm not the only one out there, right? During our adolescence, every single one of us is put into a social group, a clique, if you will. It's a part of the confusing pyramid that is the high school social hierarchy. But to many of us, even ourselves and our parents, these friend groups are nothing more than obstacles in the real goals that students should have during high school. They should be focusing on their AP classes. What about the college they're going to? And what about the fact they're going to become a doctor? Those are the real worries. Well, that's something that I beg to differ. The social status that a child can have during high school can have a massive effect on their goals and can even change their lives in a horrible way in the future. So, there's a couple things that we need to discuss. 1, what is this fabled hierarchy? 2, why does it matter? 3, who does it affect? And finally 4, how can we definitively change our social outlook in high school, paving the way for society to understand that relevancy does not mean you can or cannot do something. There must be a change in the high school social hierarchy in order to better the lives, futures, and feelings of students. So before we get into the effects of this fabled hierarchy, let's go through what it looks like. So a study done by Dr. Michael Thompson and Dr. Lawrence Cohen say that the average social pyramid in high school is represented as such, with the extremely popular kids on top, followed by the accepted kids, the ambiguous kids, and finally, the rejected kids. Now each one of these so-called groups have their own positives and negatives, and I could be here for hours talking about why one is worse than the other. But I believe looking at the extremes of this pyramid are the best purveyors of how a future can be destroyed simply because of this unnecessary yet ever-present pecking order we as students see every single day. So let's start at the bottom, the extreme bottom. The nerds, the rejects, the unsociable ones. We've all seen those kids who sit alone during class, sit alone during lunch, and are pretty much known for being unknown. They're the butt of every single joke. They're insulted at, they're smirked at. The most fame they could ever hope for is a homework question from up here, a stupid nickname. A study done by Wisconsin Longitudinal University of Wisconsin-Madison finds that students with a poor social status during high school can feel the effects of that lack reverberate throughout their lives for many years to come. Those that don't feel popular or are generally unsociable during high school can have troubles communicating to others as they grow up because they spend some of the most influential, important, and fun years of their life feeling like no one, alone, nowhere to go. An empty seat during class can soon turn into an empty cup that can never be refilled. And we go from a heart like a cup that can never be refilled to one that can only be seen as full the entire time. The popular kids, the exact opposite of the spectrum. I'm sure you all seen those kids who strut around in their Versace with a heel in their step. And as the unsociable ones, you might think that your ultimate goal is to reach that level. A perfect social life, a bright future. What could go wrong, right? Well, don't be fooled, unpopular kids, because being popular during high school can have just as bad, if not worse, effects. A study done by Marlene J. Sandstrom, a professor of psychology at Williams College, finds that higher popular levels during high school is associated with higher and dangerous rates of drinking, drug abuse, sexual activity, and minor delinquency during adolescence. And this connection between social status and risky behavior might be a lasting one. But that's not all. Author Deanna Young of the popular book House Dreams, a New York Times bestseller, said that being popular in high school stopped me from pushing my limits, truly becoming the person I had the possibility of being. popular in high school, you might think you're on top of the world, looking down on everybody else. But as soon as that real world hits you, and you reach those boundaries, everything is crashing down. You're like the queen bee of a hive, and simply no longer exists. The two extremes of this pyramid has clearly constituted the effects a social status can have on children during high school. So there's an important question we need to ask. How do we solve this? Now there's multiple reasons this hierarchy is put in place, but a study done by University of Minnesota finds that most schools do not enforce the Include Everyone initiative enough. I remember walking into my first day of high school, sitting down, the teacher looking at all the new kids and saying, make sure they have a buddy to sit next to during lunch. Make sure they have someone to take them to the bus stop. Yeah, that was about it. We didn't hear anything like that ever again. But we as students, we can have the responsibility of filling that void. That no matter the ethnicity, race, gender, or most importantly, social status that someone may or may not have, we should include everybody. And there's multiple simple steps we can do in order to change this. A study once again done by the University of Minnesota finds that students can create class-sensitive learning environments, which encourage interactive behavior between students, thus strengthening the bonds between people. But why stop at this university's ideas? We can create congregated events, parties after schools, where people can break down their social barriers and interact with people they may not have seen before. Using these parties after school, or using more behaviors during class, we can show that we are all one. These simple steps can have a massive effect to millions of teenagers throughout the world. Those nerds who think they're nothing, who think that they're the butt of the joke, a stupid nickname, it can be shown they're wrong. They're people. People who have ambitions, do what they need to do, and not be defined by what society thinks they are. And as for those popular kids, they shouldn't be knocked off their perch all nonchalantly. Rather, they can learn. They're not royalty. They're just one of us. And quite frankly, that's not something to be sad about. You can meet new people, try new things, and broaden your horizons. I have to stress this. We are who we are, and we are one. So regardless if you think you're the popular kid who thinks he can do everything in the world, or the nerd who thinks he has no ambitions whatsoever, or just a Pokemon trainer like me, trying to catch them all, we are who we are. And we as students are the ones responsible for respect. Thank you very much.